it do, baby boo? Welcome, guys, to the 30-minute podcast Valentine's Day edition. Today is Wednesday, February 14th. Today is Hump Day and it's Valentine's Day. What are the odds? If you know, you know. Anyway, guys, welcome to the 30-minute podcast once again. I am your host. My name is Tito. And boy, do I have an interesting one for you guys today. In line with love and Valentine's Day and Love Month and all that stuff, we will be talking about the fact that I have never said the words I love you before, at least not in a romantic context. I've said I love you to family members, but I've never said I love you to anyone who wasn't related to me by blood. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we do dive into the topic, though, if you're listening to this podcast on a podcast platform like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, please do me a favor and, share this podcast with anyone who you feel might enjoy it. That's one. But two, rate this podcast. If you scroll down, like if you search for the 30-minute podcast and you scroll down, you'll see where you can, rate the podcast, where you can leave a message. So you get the idea. You know the drill. So do that. If you're watching the podcast on YouTube, because this is a video podcast, the YouTube channel is the 30-minute podcast. Please be sure to like the video by clicking on the like button and subscribe to the channel as well by clicking on the black subscribe button. Thank you guys so much if you've done those things. Anyway, today's topic, Valentine's Day. Before I dive into the topic, right, it's been a rough few months for single people. Since December, single people have not been able to rest. As in, it's been back to back. In December, it was the Christmas PJs, couples taking pictures in their PJs for Christmas and all that, or for their Christmas cards, or to post on social media, whatever. There was that was stressing out single people. Then in January, Kunle Remy and his wife Tiwi, they got married. We didn't even know the wedding was coming. We didn't even know Kunle Remy was seeing anyone until he told us on January 1st that he was married. They got married legally. And then they come to Nigeria and they have this huge wedding weekend. And it was all over social media and we couldn't escape it much as we tried. So there was that in January. Now we're in February, Love Month, and Valentine's Day is here. And we're going to be inundated with all the romantic and gushy and mushy messages and pictures and teddy bears and chocolates and all those things. And if you're single and you're not in a relationship like me, it's it's not going to be a smooth one. It's going to be a bumpy ride today. Anyway, honestly, I think I'm not mad at Valentine's Day this year, to be honest, because there are distractions. There's a movie that I've been looking forward to coming out on Showmax. There's that. More importantly, Love is Blind, a show that I really love. It starts today on Netflix. Once I'm done recording this episode, I will go and watch the episode on Netflix. So there's enough things to distract me from being a single person on Valentine's Day. So I'm really not mad at Valentine's Day this year. All that aside, I think it's time to, talk about what I'm here to talk about, which is the fact that I've never said I love you before. Now, the first question on your mind would be, how have I been able to date, women and not say I love you while dating those women? Well, I think I told them, the women that I was in relationships with in the past, that love is a big deal to me and I plan on marrying the woman that I fall in love with. So, and love is not a word that I throw around much. So, if I don't say I love you, don't take it personally. So I pretty much said that to the women I dated. In some cases, we didn't date long enough to get to the point where, people start telling each other they love each other. So that was another way out. But why I've never said the words I love you before is because, well, there are a few reasons. First of all, like I said, love is a big deal to me. I don't take it lightly. I feel like, love is that word, or lots of people say love is the most abused word in the English language, maybe also in other languages. People feel emotions towards other people and they just instantly call it love rather than infatuation or a deep desire, a liking or an affection or something like that. So I'm not like that. I don't like abusing the word. And honestly, from my teenage years, I think my view on love or regarding love has been that I want to say I love you to only one person, and that's the person that I marry, right? So yeah, my mindset ever since I was a teenager was if I fall in love and I tell someone I love them, then that means that I'm going to marry them. I laugh now because now in my adult years, I've learned that it's possible to love someone but still not end up with them, still not marry them because of maybe some fundamental differences between the two of you. Yeah, it's very possible to love someone but not end up with them, not marry them. And I've realized in these years that there's a huge difference between love and marriage. When I was younger, I thought they were one and the same. That if you love someone, if you really love someone, in a romantic context, and I will talk about the different types of love later, right? But if you love someone in the romantic context and it's that, is it Eros love? Yeah, Eros love is the love between a man and a woman in like a sexual, like romantic kind of way. So if you love someone in that, like that, you're going to marry them or you should marry them. But yeah, there's a difference, like I said, between marriage and love, or love and marriage are two very different things. But those are the reasons why I've never said I love you, because I place such a heavy, like, there's so much weight attached to love. I don't take it lightly, right? So I never wanted to just say it randomly or without the proper context, to use that term. So there's that. Also, I didn't like the idea, I've never been fond of the idea of there being women around, women just walking out there in the world that I've told that I love them. I don't like that. I want, like I said, to say I love you to just one person. And I feel like, not like it's a thing, is it a thing of pride? It's something that I would be proud of, to marry the woman, the only woman that I've told those three words to, I love you. So there's that. And then the final thing is that, yes, and this, I thought that by being strict regarding saying those words, I love you, it would help me, or it would make it easier for me to locate my wife or the woman that I'm going to marry, essentially. Because my thinking when I was a wee lad in my teenage years was that if I love this woman and I don't love easily, then surely she must be my wife. So yeah, I thought if I put those parameters in place, then it would be easier that if I love this person, for sure, she's my wife. But like I said, growing up and adulthood has revealed so many things that love is not what I thought it was as a teen. But still, that hasn't really kept me from holding on to this mindset of not saying I love you just randomly or lightly. Yeah. So yeah, I've never said I love you in a romantic context. And before I talk about why that has been on my mind a lot more recently, right? I want to talk about the concept of the one. You see, I watched a YouTube video recently, and in the video, they said something that blew my mind, right? And that was so true. You see, the concept of the one, when people date or are looking for love, right? We're all, the perception or the mindset, the general idea or philosophy is that people are looking for the one, that one person that was made for them. And this is, the idea is that this is more a thing with women, that women are looking for the one man that is for them. And that's why their list of requirements are so long. And, it's kind of hard for women to pick a guy because they're looking for the one. And what the person said in the video is that it's untrue, because with lots of women, they're just looking for a man that meets their basic requirements, be it a man that can provide, or a man that can protect, or a man that's stinking rich, or a man that's hot, or a man that's very emotionally intelligent, a man that's supportive, a man that's trustworthy. Whatever a particular woman's minimum requirements or main requirements are, if she can find those things, she's willing to marry that man or settle down with that man and build the remaining requirements or the remaining things she needs to make him the one. So he doesn't need to be the one when they meet and when they're dating and when they're courting. He just needs to meet the basic requirements, and all the other things will be added later after she marries the guy. So that's for women. But with men are the ones that are really possessed with this idea of finding the one, the woman, the main woman that they're going to marry, that they're going to propose to. Because think about it, right? A man can be dating a young lady for a while, maybe a couple of years, and then all of a sudden they break up. And then his guy asks him that, what happened? You and Sharon or you and Felicia were so good together. What happened? And then the guy would say, she just wasn't the one, you know? That's something you hear more with men than with women. She wasn't the one. So it's men that are looking, have bought into that idea of the one, and we're out there looking for the one. This is why a man will be dating a great girl, or a great woman rather, who checks off so many boxes, but because he doesn't check off maybe one or two boxes that he just really holds on to, therefore she's not the one. And he's not even willing to work at it or still marry her or just try and figure out a way how she can take off those last 2 points. You get what I'm guessing at, right? So yeah, us men are the ones who are stuck on the concept of the one. So, and I didn't realize this until I watched that YouTube video, and it's so true. And I now wonder if that's what's my problem, right? And why I haven't said I love you or found the woman that is worth saying. Well, I mean, if I find a woman in my thinking, if I find a woman who is worth saying I love you too, then she's the woman that I'm going to marry according to my warped logic. So I may need to do some unlearning because I don't know if I'm stuck on this idea of the one. And I don't know if I actually believe that idea of the one. It sounds like I do. But what I can say for sure, I don't know. But what I can say for sure that I believe in terms of finding the person I'm going to marry is that I believe in God's appointment for my life. I may not believe in the concept of the one, like there's just one person for me. And if I don't marry that one person, I'm not going to be happily married ever in my life. I'm not sure I believe in that, but what I do believe is God's appointment for my life, the person that God has designed for me. And that can be looked at from several angles, right? And it's not as rigid as the concept of the one, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm still figuring it out. Now, coming to why I've been thinking about this issue of me never saying that I love you to anyone. Because I have dated, I've had girlfriends in the past. Some came really close. I may have even been in love with some of them, but I just never said it because I just didn't think they were the one. The one to say it to. I don't know. Don't judge me. But coming back to why it's been on my mind lately, right? The years have been passing by. I mean, this isn't the first Valentine's Day I'm spending alone. I've spent a number of Valentine's days alone, and the years have been rolling by, and I find myself yearning for, love and happily ever after and all that, and the ability to actually say those words, I love you. And in recent years, yeah, there have been a couple of young ladies who have come quite close, romantically. Let me put it that way. Women that I've grown very fond of and we've gotten close to at different times. I'm not saying simultaneously, I'm not saying like I was playing 2 women or 3 women at the same time. I'm just saying that there were women in recent years that I grew quite close to, and I feel like maybe I may have been in love with them, one in particular, and I've told them too that I don't say I love you. It's not something that I say. It's not a word I throw around. But from my actions and the way I've interacted with them, or the ways I interacted with them back when, they were very present in my life, even me myself, I think I can say that I was in love with them. I never said it, but from the things I did, the ways that they were on my mind, and the ways I opened up to them and whatnot, it could very easily have been love, But I just never wanted to validate it by saying those 3 words. Clearly, it never worked out with those ladies for reasons that I will hold to myself for now. Maybe in the future on another episode, I'll tell you why it didn't work with those women. But it didn't work. But regardless, I may have been in love with them because my actions, there are times when I'd say to myself, I'd ask myself, are you sure you're not in love with this woman? Because the things you're doing, the other things you're saying aside from those three words. Because the thing I've noticed with myself is that I can dance, there's this, I love you is right here, but I'll say so many other things that are close to I love you that, are kind of like, it's like you're saying I love you without saying those three words. So, yeah. But yeah, it's just been a thing in recent years, me wanting to be able to say those words and me just wanting to, find the person and just be in love and all that. And also, me coming quite close. And yeah, another thing that's been on my mind, and I think that also relates to those women in recent years that I may have been in love with, but it didn't work out with them. My biggest fear concerning love and marriage is that I fall in love with someone, but I don't marry them, and I don't stop for being in love with them. Do you get my point? But I marry somebody else, right? So my biggest fear is that I have a wife who I love, but I don't love her as much as some other woman in my past that I said those words to, I love you. Do you get my point? That is my biggest fear. I want my wife, the woman that I marry, to be the woman that I love, and I don't love any other woman more than her. But, with all this dating and getting close to some other women and whatnot, but it not working out for whatever reason, I worry that that woman or, these women may have been the love of my life, but I didn't end up with them. And then I now end up with somebody else who I love, like I said, but I don't love her, my wife, as much as I love one or two of those other women in my past. That frightens me. The thought of there being a woman out there in the world who deep down within me, I know I love her more than I love my wife. That's a special kind of hell. But I do not want that. I think maybe I need to start praying about that. I'm praying that the woman that I marry is the woman that I love with all my heart, and I don't love anyone except for Jesus more than her. Maybe Jesus and my family, So yeah, that's what's been on my mind. Perhaps I need to start praying about that. And maybe I'm worrying a bit because the thing about feelings and emotions, especially emotions of love and affection, right? It grows, right? And the more time I spend with my wife, I get closer to my wife when I do get married, I guess the more I will love her, and the less I think about the other people, the other women in my past, the less I will love them. So far that they're not in my immediate environment and I'm not communicating with them, that love ideally should die. And all the love I have, the Eros love, will be for my wife. So maybe I'm just worrying for nothing at the end of the day, So yeah, I need to bear that in mind as well. But yeah, that's where I am in terms of those three words, I love you, and my biggest fear concerning love and marriage. I'll take it to God in prayer. That's something that I haven't prayed about it, but I think I should, about all my desire, all my affection, and all my love, my Eros love, right, being for my wife and my wife alone. Speaking of the types of love, as I wind down on this episode of the 30-minute podcast, let's look at the 8 types of love for the heck of it. And yeah, another thing about saying those 3 words, I love you. Okay, so, there are those situations where our friends, our close friends, they blurt out those words, I love you, or they try and put you in some kind of situation where you have to tell them those words, I love you. So for me, since I don't say those 3 words, what I do say is, I say it lightheartedly. I say things like, love ya. And that love ya is L-O-V without the E. And then the Y-A. So it's not love you in the very formal, very kind of manner. It's love ya. So I say that. Sometimes I say, I've got nothing but love for you. I've got mad love for you. And I do like pistol fingers. I keep it light and fun. But I never say those like, I love you. Sometimes I'm explaining to them that, look, I don't say I love you because I don't throw that word or those words together around haphazardly or randomly. So yeah, they have to settle with a derivative, a less intense derivative of that term or those words. Yes, the 8 types of love are eros, which I mentioned earlier, and that's romantic or sexual love. Then there's pragma, which is love that endures. There's philotia, yeesh, that's a mouthful, and that's self-love or being kind to self. And I'm reading this off my phone. I'll put the image on the screen. That's for the benefit of those of you that are watching this episode of the podcast. Next, there's ludus love, which is playful slash fun slash exciting love. Then there's philia love, which is feeling part of a team. Okay. Then there's agape love, right? Love of humanity. And then there's storge love, which is family love, religious or very close friends. So from the top, all 8: eros, pragma, philotia, ludus, philia, agape, and storge love. The 8 different types of love. But yeah, it's Valentine's Day. Love is in the air. I wonder if this time next year, God preserving my life, if I'll be in a relationship or engaged or married, I don't know. Or if I'll be single again on Valentine's Day 2025. I think I'm done with being single on Valentine's Day. Yeah, love they hungry me. Anyway, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope you guys I hope you guys feel loved, whether or not you're in a relationship, because there's love at home from family. There's love from your religious communities or church or your mosque and all that. Love is everywhere, not just from your romantic partner. So let's lean into that and not feel left out, like we're not loved. There's the love of God, which surpasses all. There's the love of Jesus if you're a Christian and a person of faith. So keep hope alive and let this be your comfort, or these different types of love, let them be your comfort while you wait for eros love in your life. That's if you're single. For those of you who are in meaningful, loving relationships, or you're married, kudos to you. I celebrate you. I'm happy for you. Like I said, I'm not hating on Valentine's Day this year. Thank you guys so much. This was interesting. I don't think I've ever talked at length about why I've never said those 3 words, I love you, before. I really, je t'aime. That's in French, en français. I really look forward to saying those words to the right person. And I really look forward to the right person as well. This episode is getting mushy. It's time to draw the curtains on this episode of the 30-minute podcast. The season is coming to an end real soon. I think this is episode 11 or 12. And each season is 13 episodes of my podcast. So this is season 2. I guess, like I said, season 2 will be coming to an end real soon. I'll probably take a break before I start season 3. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. This has been fun. Happy Valentine's Day. Show me some love somehow by, liking this video. If you're watching the video version of the podcast, show me some love by taking a screenshot of the episode or the podcast screen and pasting it on your Insta stories and tagging me at the 30-minute pod. That's my Instagram handle. Find some way to show me or people in your life love. Yeah, but show me love. You're listening to my podcast. It's Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is special to me for other reasons. Thank you for listening, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I need a drink of water. I need to rest. All this love is making my head spin. All this talk of love is making my head spin, and there's no outlet to express it. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.